So if you didn't watch the Wrestling Escape Pods, apologies that my voice is still not back. It's not leaving me alone. I just cannot find a way of shaking this off. This cold, which just seems to follow me around like a black cloud, just hanging over my head. But I feel fine. Everything's fine. I am fine within myself, which is always nice. But outside of like how I sound and like my nose being a bit runny, everything's good. In my head, I feel clear. I don't feel tired or cloudy minded or anything like this. It just sounds worse than it is, and I've still got a bit in my nose. Outside of that, though, feeling good. And honestly, how can you not be feeling good after last night's Raw? It's NXT tonight. Last night's Raw with The Rock. I mean, what an amazing moment. That moment where he came out and said about being at the head of the table. Wow. I mean, it changed everything, didn't it? And all of a sudden now people are wondering, what does this mean for WrestleMania? What does this mean for finishing the story? It just throws so much up in the air, but in a really good way. I know the Cody fans are going to be concerned, but they shouldn't be. Better Wrestling Experience came out and said, don't worry. Like, don't worry. The story's still going to get finished type thing. We put it in the Unseen video. There was quite a bit in the Unseen video that dropped earlier today. Quite a bit, actually. And I love doing those videos. I just could not do it last night because my voice was gone. After a 5-hour Raw stream, I had enough to just tell you that Roman had replied with a tweet. I had enough to do that video, and that was it. My voice was gone. So I went to bed, got up. My voice was back a little more to the point where I was able to do an Unseen video, dropped it on the channel, and then I've just rested it ready for these streams. So we've done Wrestling Escape Pods. Now we're here for NXT. We'll get through this stream. I don't know if we'll do an Unseen video tonight. We probably won't, to be honest. Depending on what happens, of course, we probably won't. I'll probably save it for tomorrow again. And there is no stream tomorrow because, of course, tomorrow would have been our AEW stream. But Tommy Toy Travels does them now. So I'm really hoping that means that I can just rest my voice tomorrow. And then hopefully I'm back Thursday, Friday, back to full strength, or at least getting closer to it. Can't stay like this forever, surely. So don't forget, we are actually back on Thursday. We are doing the preview stream. So there's a big show on the network. And don't forget, tonight, if you want to watch NXT in the UK, it's on the network. So you go to WWE Network and you should be able to watch it live on there in the UK. So a lot of people might be going, where is it on TNT? It's not there. It's on the WWE Network. We don't have it on Peacock in the UK. We still have the WWE Network. And so, yeah, it's going to be on there. And no stream tomorrow, but on Thursday we are doing a watch-along for that preview show. And Triple H has got I don't know if it was a major announcement or just an announcement, but either way, there's some sort of announcement that Triple H is going to make on that preview show. So I think a lot of people are going to be tuned into that. A lot of people are going to be interested to see what gets said on that show. So, and we'll do the watch along for it. So whatever's going to be said, we'll be live reacting to it. Daze, use posters. Use posters? Oh, like hold up posters. Yeah. I thought you meant that was some sort of throat sweet. And I was like, I've not heard of those. Honestly, then, when you've got like lost your voice, it's not sore, so I don't have a sore throat, so I can't really take anything for that. There's not really, I look to see what you can do for like having lost your voice. There's not really much you can do apart from rest it. They say make sure that you're drinking fluids, make sure that you're resting it, just stuff like that, you know. So yeah, you know, it's not much I can do. We'll get through this stream. I feel fine. It's no hardship. It's not going to be a problem to get through the stream. It's just if this is going to hold up. So we are probably not going to do much screaming and shouting in the early stages, but let's see how it goes. Kian said, Daze, I hope you're doing well. What's your prediction for night? I've looked around. Rock Roman is reportedly rumored for Elimination Chamber. I haven't seen, to be honest, where it's being rumored or reported. I know that Dave Meltzer says that he hasn't heard the plans. He said that he felt like WrestleMania would be the natural place for it, but he said that he has not had that confirmed. So Meltzer's not got any info. So honestly, I don't know. I mean, there's other sources, other places where, you know, you could get information from, but I've seen that Better Wrestling Experience have said don't worry about Cody finishing his story. Like, that can still happen, or the plan is that will still happen at some point. But yeah, Rock Roman looks like it's happening. It's just we're not 100% if it's going to be Elimination Chamber or WrestleMania. In regards to tonight, we've got Ilja Dragunov against Trick Williams for the NXT Championship. I think Dragunov wins. I think Carmelo is going to show his true colours tonight and cost Trick Williams. And Lyra against Blair Davenport. This is interesting because Blair Davenport is definitely someone I could see being women's champion. She's had a lot of experience outside of WWE, and so she is definitely someone, when she was Bea Priestley, she's definitely someone that could win this match, but Lyra's not had it very long, so I'm thinking they're going to stick with Lyra for now. So I'm going to say Lyra retains, but honestly, that is one that I would just keep an eye on. I don't think Trick wins the NXT Championship, but I would just keep an eye on Lyra and Blair Davenport. But I think I'm giving Lyra the nod. Then we've got Riley Osbourne against Femi. This is the final of the men's breakout. Difficult, really difficult. I think I'm going to go Riley, just because Femi is a monster who I think is going to be dominant, and I don't think he really needs this win. I think that he's going to be fine anyway. He's going to just run through people anyway, whereas Riley, I think he could probably do with this win to have something to gloat about and brag about and make him stand out, because he's good in ring, but he is not as physically imposing as Femi is. Femi is always going to grab your attention because of his size. Riley, maybe not as much. So I just sort of think, give it Riley, because this will help him, because he is going to be the breakout tournament winner, and that's something we can really brag about. And Femi is just a monster anyway. So he can just go running roughshod through everyone, and he'll make a name for himself quite comfortably. So I'm going to go Riley, but I'm not basing it on much. Then we've got Fallon Henley taking on Tiffany Stratton. This is the loser of this will either be a ranch hand or a servant. So if Fallon wins, Tiffany will be her ranch hand. If Tiffany wins, Fallon will be her servant. It's a tricky one, isn't it? I feel like the baby face is probably winning. It's tricky. They've been feuding for a while, and so are we going to keep going with this? Is this going to be something that's got more if it's got more matches, then the heel could win. If we're finishing it here, then I think the face is probably winning. So I'm thinking the face wins, and I'm going to go with Fallon. But a close one, that one, because it all depends on if there's more matches happening after this. Close, though. That might be there's a few close ones. I think Riley Ober is close. Fallon Tiffany is close. Lyra Blair, I feel pretty good about Lyra. Ilja Trick, I feel good about Ilja. Ariana Grace against Roxanne Perez. I think Roxanne gets it. She is further along in her development, but I think Ariana Grace could look good in defeat type situation. And then we've got the LWO and a mystery person taking on No Quarter Catch Crew. Now, I was thinking that mystery person could be Andrade. He's said goodbye to AEW today. He's done. He's out of contract. He's free. He's rumored to be going to WWE. Dragon Lee said he's got a surprise replacement because Dragon Lee can't make it. Zelina Vega says she knows a secret. Everything's looking good, right? But I have just heard who is being reported, and I can tell you if you don't want to know. So if you don't want to know, turn the sound down for a second. I will give you the name and then we'll move on, right? So 3, 2, 1, Carlito. Okay, that's the name that's being rumored, or that's the name that's being reported, which it's disappointing, to be honest. It's disappointing because that does make sense, but it's not the name I wanted. I wanted it to be Andrade. So, yeah, we'll have to see if it goes that way. We'll have to see. But, you know, normally when they report these things, they get them right more often than not. So, feeling pretty good. It is going to go that way, to be honest. So, we've got that match as well. That would probably save Andrade for the Rumble or showing up elsewhere. I mean, there was some people that got in touch going, nah, there's no way he'd go to NXT. He's not going to be an NXT superstar. I never thought he was. I never thought he would be. But this isn't really an NXT match because LWO and Dragon Lee are SmackDown superstars that are kind of come down to do a little work down in NXT. So I was thinking that Andrade could be in this match as a way of like, oh my god, look who's back, right? Wins this match, Andrade's back, this is amazing, but what brand is he gonna call home, right? That sort of a thing. And then boom, he rocks up on SmackDown on Friday, and that's it. He's a SmackDown superstar. This is just a way of bringing him in. You know, nice little bonus ball for New Year's Evil, because they do like to give NXT these kind of moments as well, these little surprises and whatever. But no, at no point did I think he was going to be a NXT superstar. But because this match isn't like NXT versus NXT, it felt like this is where you could bring him in and then he could go off to SmackDown after. LWO, you know, Del Toro, Wild, they're SmackDown superstars. Dragon Lee, SmackDown superstar. I know he's the North American champion now, but he's still on SmackDown. So that belt still gets represented on both brands, to be honest. Just like how when Dominic had it, he was wearing it on Raw, you know? He was still a Raw superstar, just like Dragon Lee is now a SmackDown superstar. So that was the logic there, but hey-ho, doesn't seem like it's going that way. That's okay. You know, it is what it is. And so we'll see how it goes tonight. We'll see what SmackDown NXT is like. It's a pretty stacked show. We've got the NXT Championship, Women's Championship, Breakout Tournament Final. I like the Ranch Hand Servant stipulation. That means we should get a funny segment next week. We should get something really fun next week, so I'm looking forward to that. Ariana Grace against Roxanne Perez, LWO. Yeah, there's some good stuff here. Some good stuff. So I want to jump into the chat. There's a fair few talking points as well in the world of wrestling. We touched on Andrade confirming his AEW departure. There's also rumors doing the rounds that Naomi is expected to return to WWE at some point sooner rather than later, which is brilliant. I'm very excited for Naomi to return. Apparently, Roman is going to be on SmackDown on Friday. And Velveteen Dream released an apology video where he apologized for, well, he wasn't specific. He just apologized for his behavior in recent years. He apologized to Triple H. He apologized to Shawn. I don't know that he's apologizing because he thinks he's going to be able to come back. Because I think that there's a lot of really bad stuff that he's been accused of. Like, one of the things was setting up cameras in locker rooms and filming people. Like, this is like really criminal activity stuff. I don't know what came of that, right? But there was a lot of noise that was around the Velveteen Dream, to the point where WWE felt like it was too noisy and they parted ways. So we don't know quite what he's guilty of, or if it was all just noise and nothing more than that. But I don't think at this point he's thinking, if I apologize, I can go back. I don't think he's thinking that. I think he's probably thinking, if I apologize, I can get rid of some of this baggage that I'm carrying, you know? That must be... I mean, you never think about it, to be honest. Why would you? But what an opportunity he fumbled, you know? Life is hard. It's very difficult, right? No one, I think, finds life that easy. You know, you have to make a lot of decisions. You're going to get a lot of decisions wrong. Everyone's struggling with different things. But he had an opportunity to be a big star in WWE and make God knows how much money and be known around the world and have figures made, which he already had figures, but more figures, more t-shirts, more moments, WrestleMania moments. Like, he was a big star in NXT. He undoubtedly would have gone to the main roster, and he undoubtedly would have been used well, I think. He really was someone that grabbed your attention. He was someone that was used quite heavily in NXT. And he was so flamboyant that he just grabbed your attention, and he could work in the ring as well. And he was good promo. So he had the look, he had the wrestling, he had the promos. He had a lot going for him, right? I wouldn't expect him to go to the main roster unless he wasn't to Vince's taste. Unless Vince saw him and went, no, I can't. That's not something I want to, you know, work with. Unless there was something like that, he likely would have gone to the main roster and done very well. And he fumbled the bag. He fumbled it. He dropped the ball. Like, he ended up losing his job. And now I don't know what he does. I don't know what he does. But I can't imagine that it's as exciting, or I can't imagine it's as fulfilling, or I don't know, as what the path he was on, you know? That's a lot of baggage in it. That's a lot to carry. That's a lot. That's the kind of thing that I think will haunt you for years. You know, plus also, if that noise is true, it seems like he may have some other demons anyway, you know. He may be a very troubled person, I don't know. But he issued an apology video. I don't think it's going to do anything. I don't expect it to do anything. I don't expect it to change anything. But I should imagine that he is really carrying a lot with him at the moment. The other bit of news is that MJF is apparently debating whether to rehab his shoulder injury or to get surgery. I haven't actually read this. So if he got surgery, how long would he be out for? I don't know if they know. From what I was told, he's either going to rehab or he may need surgery. Surgery would put him out for quite a while. He is debating what tact to take. I think it's probably best for him to have surgery, but that would mean a long time off. That's Dave Meltzer, by the way. So MJF is debating what the right thing for him to do is. The surgery probably is the right thing, you know. Probably is the right thing. And to be honest, in wrestling, how can we miss you if you never go away? So it's part of the game, innit? It's part of the game. There'll still be big contracts for him, waiting for him when he returns from that surgery. Big Time said, check a tweet I've tagged you in. There's a lot of gaslighting. Mercedes being a massive game changer. This tweet is getting a lot of traction. Okay. Let's have a look. Sources tell Fightful they expect Trinity to return to WWE, barring unforeseen circumstances. People very excited about Naomi. Dun, 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 dun. I can't see the tweet buds. Is it like recent? No. I've got a lot of Naomi. No. Did you do it as a message? No. How long ago was that? 11 hours ago. I don't... Did you tag me in it? Can you tag me in it again? I can't see it in my notifications. Am I missing NXT? I can't see it on the planet. A Twisted Sky. It's on the WWE Network, buds. It's on the WWE Network. They've moved it. Aaron, hello. Shout out to you. I hope you're well. Aaron said, I saw people say that Roman Rock at Elimination Chamber. Personally, I would go that way. Roman would feel unstoppable going in against Cody. The problem is Rock wants to do WrestleMania. Well, you could do them night 1 and then do Roman Cody night 2. That solves that problem. The only thing is that if Roman gets injured, I mean, who cares if The Rock gets injured? Because The Rock could get injured at Elimination Chamber, right? He could get injured in any match. But so, you know, I hope he doesn't, but he could. The bigger problem would be if Roman got injured, because if Roman gets injured on night 1, then that's going to affect night 2, and that's going to be a big problem. So that's the concern if you do it that way. But what a WrestleMania that would be. I think it was Wrestle with Andy that chucked this idea in of like, do you do Rock Roman night 1 and then night 2 you do Roman against Cody? Because as you just said, if Roman beats The Rock on night 1, he's going to seem like a monster. Like, how am I going to beat the guy that just beat The Rock? You would definitely have to have Cody have a match night 1 as well. Otherwise it would be unfair, and it would seem like Roman was going into that second match at a disadvantage. So you would need Cody against someone on night 1, maybe Cody solo or something like this, you know, and Cody wins, but he gets brutally beaten down after, like he is a wreck, and like the Bloodline are laughing and joking about it. Then Roman, as his match against The Rock, comes through it and sets up the second night, which is Roman Cody. Cody still feeling the effects of that beatdown following his match with Solo. You know, it's Cody that's in the worst shape, and The Rock's Roman's just beat The Rock, and so you could go that way as potential, but again, you would just be so nervous because you'd be nervous about Cody, you'd be nervous about Roman. Anything went wrong with them, and then night 2's main event is derailed. But yeah, I don't disagree. The only thing I struggle with it being an Elimination Chamber is it's just not WrestleMania. I do agree, it's not WrestleMania. Perhaps though, this is the match that can start changing our perception. In our minds, we see WrestleMania as the be-all and end-all. And yeah, you've got SummerSlam. SummerSlam's not a million miles behind, but it's a good second place. But like Elimination Chamber, that doesn't feel anywhere even close to the same neighborhoods. But that's because the booking, historically, has always been that those shows are treated as B shows. Under TKO, you know, under this new regime, we might see much bigger B shows going forwards, we might, you know, B shows actually might be a thing of the past. Every month it might just be A shows going forwards, which would be great for their numbers. The only problem you would have is that if everything's an A show, how do you make WrestleMania feel like an AA show? How do you still make WrestleMania feel like the crown jewel? I think you will be able to, because it's WrestleMania and it's got the history. Everyone knows WrestleMania, but right now, one of the ways that it stands out is by being just so far ahead of those B shows. But maybe in this new regime, these other shows, these B shows, they're going to be better. They're going to be like stronger. And maybe that starts with doing Rock Roman at Elimination Chamber in Australia. I mean, it is 60,000 stadium. So, you know, it's certainly a venue that's good enough. It's not a 20,000 arena. Although saying that, you know, you go back in the day, there was massive matches that took place in like 20,000 seater arenas. So, yeah, really good point. Interesting point. I would like it at WrestleMania as well. To be honest, I would like it at WrestleMania. It just feels like it should be. There are certain matches that feel like they should be at WrestleMania. Do you know, that's a good video, actually. That'd be a really good video. 10 WWE pay-per-view matches that should have been saved for WrestleMania, or, you know, should have happened at WrestleMania. Like, they happened at other shows, but actually they should have been at a WrestleMania. That would be a good video. And this would could you imagine if we get Rock Roman at Elimination Chamber? I think that would be number one in that video. But as we said, maybe we just need to start thinking about it in a different way. Sparky said it's stupid that NXT is on the network. Yeah, this is, I think, going to be a problem for some. I genuinely don't know how many, though. I would imagine that if you watch NXT, you're probably a big wrestling fan. And I think you probably have got the network. I could be wrong on that there, and I'm sure there will be some out there that watch NXT that don't have the network, but I think we're talking the minority. Rock Roman should be WrestleMania. I'm sure Rock's ego would want that match at WrestleMania, says Jim. It's a good point. It's a very good point. I was thinking, Asib, hello. I was thinking, yes. Do you see AEW going down TNA road? As I see a lot of similarities. Both had hype. Both brought in WWE legends. Both brought in the hottest stars from the indies. And now look at TNA now, says Asib. I don't know the history of TNA well enough to be able to tell you if there are similarities. Yes, 100%. But did they have the financial backing throughout their history that AEW has got now? Because AEW has got some serious financial backing. AEW is in a very good place. You know, they've got a billionaire who seemingly is quite happy to lose 30 million a year. Maybe not happy, but will do it and carry on. And is excited by the company, and is a mark, is a wrestling mark, basically. You know, he's someone that just loves the business, and this is a passion project for him. This is something that really means a lot to him. This isn't just a business that you buy, try to make money out of, and then sell. This is his identity. So I don't know that TNA had that level of financial backing in the past. They may have done. I don't know. I'm saying I don't know. It is true, though. They have had similarities with them bringing in people. And I also think, though, that I don't know if they had the same level of TV, the same level of exposure. They did used to get some really good ratings. So they did have a good run with ratings. And then it did start to wind down, and they ended up switching networks and everything. It's going to be interesting. I think that you can draw comparisons, but I think, to be honest, we're not going to quite know until a bit more time has gone by, because this could still go in a few different directions. If they lose the Warner Brothers TV deal and they end up going to a smaller platform, and then Tony has got to downscale to re-budget, and so all of a sudden the company becomes a smaller company, and he tries to make it profitable, right? Rather than losing 30 million every year, he thinks to himself, do you know what? I just want a company that is making money, that's got a long-term future, and I can try and grow it from there. Rather than having it here where it's losing 30 million, maybe I take it here where it is smaller, but it's actually breaking even, and then I can try and build it from here and see where I can get to, right? You don't know if he's not going to take that path in the future, because he ain't going to want to lose 30 million year after year after year after year after year. He ain't going to want to do that. After 5 years, if it is 30 million he's losing, that'll be 150 million. I mean, that's a lot of money. In anyone's book, that is a lot of money. Like, I just don't know that that's sustainable. And then if you put in the mix that Warner Brothers TV is going to be bringing in a good chunk of money, if they lose that, then, oh God, where do they end up then, What platform do they go on, and what money are they bringing in? So I think that this next TV deal is going to be very interesting. I think that if they get a good TV deal next, and they get, say, Mercedes and some storylines that really get attention, and gap starts to really close, and actually Wembley could be a success for them again. Maybe they find another international market, like say Australia or somewhere else, where they can do a good stadium and make a good chunk of money. So it's hard, because we just don't know which way they're going to go. We don't know. This, I would say, is a year of going sideways. So next year, is it another year of sideways, or is it a year where things start to creep up? Or is it a year where things start to go down? It's really hard to tell. Really hard to tell. I mean, what I feel confident about at the moment is I'm not seeing a company that's making moves or is anywhere near close to replacing WWE. Jericho said a while ago that AEW were going to be looking to beat Raw in the ratings within 3 years, and that's a clip that people love playing, because he said that, I think, 2019, 2020, and here we are 3 years later, a little bit more than that, and they're nowhere near the Raw rating. Raw ratings 1.3, 1.4, Dynamite 850, right? So then they're not even close. It's not even 100,000. It's not even 200,000. It's not even 300,000, right? So he was saying they were going to beat them on a consistent basis, and they're just not. I mean, they're nowhere near. So I think that I feel confident that they're not closing the gap on WWE. I feel confident that they're a very distant second place, but I think for them, the conversation needs to be, are they moving in the right direction? And I don't think even they can answer that until they know what this TV deal is going to look like. That, I think, is absolutely critical. That is, whatever channel you're on, that's your home. Everything can be, watch us here, watch it on Wednesday at this time on this network, watch us here, this is our home, the new home of, right? It's such a big deal when you move networks, because that is like moving home. If you move home, that's a big deal to you. That's a big thing that you've done. They say moving home is one of the most stressful things you can do. Well, when a company moves networks, that's the same. It's the equivalent. And so I think that we just don't know which way it's going to go at this stage, because this TV deal that's coming up now is so important. So important. But yeah, you're not wrong. There's a lot of comparison. There's a lot of things that are similar. Big Time said, I've tagged you in it again. Some stuff I agree with, and there's some I disagree with. Okay, let's have a look at it. Let's have a look. When Punk left WWE and joined AEW after a decade, he sold out a 15,000-seater arena. He gave AEW its first $1 million gate, and he was its top draw. When Sasha left WWE and went to New Japan, she barely sold out a 2,000-seater arena. She didn't boost the ratings and the YouTube views were low. She's not the draw that she thinks she is. She's not on Charlotte Flair's level. She's only famous on Twitter circles. Triple H didn't fumble anything. It's Sasha who fumbled. She did the same thing the Ultimate Warrior did in the 90s. Okay. My take on that, good. I mean, it's an interesting tweet. I don't really react to these tweets because, I don't know, I don't really want to be coming across as negative on social media. But, not too much. But my take on this is, why does this exist? That's my initial reaction. Why does this exist? Why is this a thing? What's this got to do with any body? This here, right? Why is this? What's this about? Why is this a thing? Like this, I look at this and I think, tell me you're a hater of Sasha without telling me that you're a hater of Sasha. That's what that tweet looks like to me. Tell me that you've got an issue with Sasha without telling me that you've got an issue with Sasha. I mean, my opinion on that is that she is a star who's been in The Mandalorian. She's main evented WrestleMania. She got to the level within WWE where they wanted to do that for her and put her in those positions because she was generating the numbers that warranted her being put in that position, right? So as much as they want to say that she barely sold out a 2,000 arena, well, that's true, but that was in Japan and didn't boost the ratings. Well, that's true, but that's a Japanese promotion, right? I mean, you're comparing the second biggest promotion in North America with a relatively small promotion in Japan. So it's not the same. We're not comparing the same things. They're not the same size companies. They don't have the same expectations. They don't have the same size audience. We're not comparing like for like. If she had been in AEW and that's the numbers she generated, I think this is a more interesting conversation, right? But the fact that she had been in a completely different promotion, that's a much smaller promotion, just sort of makes that argument void to me. It doesn't mean anything. That I don't look at that and think, oh, you're clever. Oh, you're making a good point. I don't look at that and think that. I think, why are you having a pop at Sasha? That's what it makes me think. Why are you having a pop at Sasha? It really bothered people that she wanted that money. And I don't understand why, because I really don't think, he's saying that she fumbled. Triple H didn't fumble. Sasha fumbled. No, she didn't. Sasha didn't fumble, right? Sasha said, I'm happy. Like, I wanted to leave WWE. I wasn't enjoying myself, so I wanted to leave. And so I went and I did something that I'm passionate about. I went to Japan, where she loves Japanese wrestling, and she loves Asian culture. And she went over there, and she got to wrestle some of the best women's wrestlers in the world. And she competed against them, and she was having the time of her life. She got to reinvent herself, new hairstyle, new name, new entrance music, new ring gear. Just learn and be a sponge and be outside of that WWE machine. She's not hurting for money. She's got money. She's young still. She knows the door's open. I mean, she could have gone back. If she really wanted to go back to WWE, she wouldn't set her number that high, right? Or she would be willing to negotiate down, right? She'd go in with a number, they'd go, we can't do that. And she'd be like, okay, well, what can we make work, right? If she wanted to go back, she could have negotiated and found a way of getting back, right? But everything says to me that she's not really motivated at this stage in her career to really go back. It's not really something that she's that fussed by. She would go back, but in order to go back, she wants serious money, right? If they're willing to pay that, brilliant, then she'll go back. She will give up on her Asian adventure. She will give up on her dreams of maybe wrestling at Wembley and competing against Jamie Hayter, or competing against Hikaru Shida, or competing against Timeless Tony Storm, or whoever else, right? She will give up on that. But in order for her to give up on that, there is an amount of money compensation that she would be looking for, and that's the amount of money that she decided would be the amount that she would be willing to accept to give up on that, right? It's not a case that it's like, I'm worth this, and I believe I'm worth this, and you're going to pay me this, right? I don't look at it in that way at all. Not for, I don't look at it that way for a second, right? I don't look at it in that diva-ish, you're going to pay me this type way. I look at it as a woman that's really enjoying herself outside of WWE, doesn't need to go back, has got things that she can do outside of that bubble, and if they want her, she'll give up on it, on what she wants to do, but there is a compensation that has to be paid for her to do that, and that's the amount she asked for, right? They said, we're not doing that. Well, that's fine. That's fine. That's not a problem for Mercedes. That's not a problem. She can now go off and do what she wants to do. She ain't fumbled anything. She ain't fumbled a thing. She ain't fumbled nothing. She's gonna go off now and do what she wants to do. And WWE, they weren't willing to go that far. They looked at the numbers and they were like, we can't make this work. We can't give you that because we don't think you're going to generate that. That's fine. It didn't work for WWE. So, it may disappoint him, but it is what it is. So that is how I look at it. And I don't get why this tweet needs to exist. I don't get why this needs to be written. I don't get what this person seems to be personally offended by the contract negotiations of Mercedes, seem to have conjured up this person to write this tweet, which just doesn't make it. I don't know. I look at it and I'm like, I don't know why you've written it. I don't know why you've written it. It's like you're comparing two things that are completely different. Then you're saying she's not the draw she thinks she is. She's not on Charlotte's level. She's only famous on Twitter. Triple H didn't fumble anything. It's Sasha that fumbled. She did the same thing that Warrior did back in the 90s. Like, it's very attacking. It's very attacking, and I don't know why. Don't know. It seemed to really upset people. No, I don't really get it. So, I think that to each their own. To each their own. It's funny, isn't it? Because I suppose we all live in our own bubbles and things affect us in different ways, Like, everyone knows I could not stand Pat on commentary. I couldn't stand it. It really wound me up the wrong way. Not in a jokey way, it just seemed to cut to my core and just wind me up. I found him irritating. I found him to be unprofessional. I found him to start sentences and not finish them. I found him to talk over moments where I didn't want commentary. I found him to be irritating when he got animated in his commentary. I found that the enthusiasm that he brought that people seem to enjoy was very OTT to me. It was very turned up to 11 and 12, which I think some people really enjoyed, but it actually just further grated on me. I couldn't cope with it. I really had problems with it. He's one of the people I've most disliked in WWE. And that's not anything that he's done personally to me. There's no personal attack that he's had on me. It was just I just couldn't stand his work. I couldn't stand what he brought to the company. I don't think I ever got to the point where I wrote stuff like that. I don't think I did. But it seems like that person's got the same sort of reaction to Mercedes, where she seems to have really irritated them, you know? And you do see that. I'm sure everyone watching has got someone that has that effect on them in, like, maybe in WWE or maybe in wrestling or maybe somewhere, you know. There's someone out there that gets to you, you know, irritates you, really grinds your gears, you know. So I think when I look at tweets like that, I think I see that sort of thing, to be honest. I see someone that is clearly very irritated by this situation, but I don't personally share the same irritation. So that would be a tweet that I may skim through and read, but I wouldn't stick on it. It wouldn't resonate with me. Right, we are done, and we are, I think, about to get going with NXT. It says live NXT 485, but it's got Mean Gene at the start. What is this? Is this gonna work? No, it says January 2nd, 2019. Oh, there's New Year's Evil. Trick Williams, watch live. Was I in the wrong place? Let's go. Okay, I think it's starting now. Let's go. Thank God it's live. Yeah, thank God it's live. So it's working. We are live. Oh, Sonny said, Daze, I went to the dentist to check on my teeth. Makes sense. They found cavities in the back molars, and they might have to get 7 to 8 teeth pulled and be put under anesthesia. I won't know until a second appointment. I can't imagine that they need to pull 7, 8 teeth, bud. I would be very surprised at that. I'm sure they could do some sort of root canals or fill-ins or, you know, stuff like this. So, don't know. Get it sorted. Dental hygiene is very important. I had a disaster over. Well, God, when was it? It was about a few months ago. I chipped my tooth. Oh, I remember doing a stream actually where every time I spoke, my tongue went against my chipped tooth. Oh God, it was like a razor blade. It was like a razor blade. But I got that sorted, and oh, and then there was another one, wasn't there, where I had like a toothache, really bad toothache, had to have that tooth pulled. So I've had a fair bit of dental work recently as well, but so I feel your pain. But you shouldn't be needing 7, 8 teeth pulled. I'd be very surprised if that was the case. Kian said, when's the next UFC stream? I missed the streams since the last one. The one person who really does annoy me is Andrew Tate, says Kian. That's understandable. That's understandable. There's not one this week. I think it's the week after. This Saturday, I actually don't know what we're doing, but I've got to be honest. My full focus is on just getting my voice back. If I can get my voice back, that's step one. Step one for us on NXT is the Women's Championship match. Now, we're going to continue voting on the matches. We're going to continue voting on them. Again, let me give the community guidance. when we vote on what we think about the matches, try to only use the top option like once a stream, right? You may not even use it once a stream. That really should be like for your match of the show. And if you don't think anything was really that noteworthy, don't use it, right? That top option should be like, that was special type option, yeah? I think saying you can use it once a show, something like that, that's probably a good way of looking at it. I think if you go to it like for every match, we're definitely not using it, right? Unless the show is going to be the greatest show of all time, where every match is going to be like a 5-star banger. Here's Lyra. We'll do a poll and we will ask people who wins. Oh, I keep doing that wrong, don't I? Who leaves as champion? Is it going to be Lyra or is it going to be Blair? This is our first match. Have you seen Patrick Clark's apology video? I've not seen it, Tony, but I've heard about it, and we spoke about it. I think it was earlier in this stream. I'm trying to think if it's Wrestling Escape Pod or this stream. But we were saying, I don't think he expects it to get him to come back. I don't think it's like, I'm sorry, can I come back now, please? I think it's, I'm sorry, really, and I need to let go this baggage I'm carrying around, you know? Because that is, I mean, imagine being someone that was really successful in NXT and then actually fumbling the bag, right? Actually throwing it away. And that's what he did. That's what he did. He actually threw it away. And now I don't know what he does. But he could have been thinking about being in a Rumble. He could have been thinking about a WrestleMania 40 match. But now I don't know what he's thinking about. Well, he's thinking about putting out apology videos. That's what he's thinking about. Wrestler Andy said, maybe Jade will debut tonight. Maybe. Edward said, what do you think of my tweet? Will you do a video on it? I've not seen your tweet, buds. Edward said, is this video worthy? Oh, the Naomi thing. It probably is, but unfortunately, we've probably missed the boat. So it definitely would be video worthy if it was 3 hours ago. But the fact that it's like been out there now, I don't think it is. So yes, it would have been. But because of the WEP and because of NXT, we're a bit out the loop. So yeah, it's Naomi potentially coming back, which has grabbed people's attention. It is very exciting. Don't know, James will know better than me or anyone that watches Impact as to when she could potentially leave Impact to come back. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer as to when she may return. Knee to the midsection by Blair. Lyra in the corner. Blair coming over as Lyra jumps over. Cartwheels across. Jumps over. Blair grabbing Lyra. Hooks. Both trying to go for backslides. No joy. Nice headlock takeover. No joy as Blair's getting back up to her feet. This could be a really interesting match. These two can both go in the ring. Shots coming into the midsection by Blair. Blair walking away. Lyra in the corner. Blair onto the edge of the ring. Lyra swing and a miss. Blair. Wow, I love that. And look, Blair grabbing Lyra, pulling her back against the ropes, and Lyra just like slingshotted forward. Double stomp. Oh my god. That looked brutal. That looked brutal. Referee was right in there to check on Lyra. Look at the replay. Blair goes up, Oh my God. Oh my God. That was way more brutal than I thought on the replay. She double stomped into her, and Lyra just went face first, head first, into the mat. It looked horrible on the replay. She's still... I could believe that's real. Referee has checked on her a couple of times. She says she's fine. He wouldn't allow this to continue if he had any doubts. They take concussion very seriously, but oh my God. That was so brutal, my voice nearly came back. That's how brutal it was. Jobson said, Days, back in September, The Rock didn't even mention Roman. Yesterday he did. I feel like we're more likely to get a match now, more than ever. I agree, buds. I agree. That looked awful for Lyra, said Triton. Come on, Blair, said Aubrey. JM Beer said, yikes. We got a yikes. That's how bad it was. We were actually yikesing. Wow, quick strikes. So look at some of these from Lyra. I love those big overhands. Clothesline. And again. She's grabbed Blair. Nice reversal. Lyra against the ropes. Crossbody there by Lyra. Blair goes down. Lyra back up on her feet. Kick to the midsection. Push to the midsection. Another quick kick. Step up in Zaguri. So good. Blair goes down. Some of Lyra's strikes look a little short of the mark. A little like going through the motions sometimes. Some of them look really good. Like they're really mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. Some of them, like the setup ones, bang, I do this, but then I do this. She's very good. I think as time goes by, I'd like to see some of those setup shots just look a little bit more laid in. Sometimes it can be a bit, I do that. Now I do. Oh, hello, what's this? Breaking news. Kelly Kincaid has got breaking news update immediately following this match. Elbows coming in. Well, if it was big, would we... That's a bit unusual, isn't it? If it was big breaking news, would we wait for this match to finish, or would we not just go picture in picture? Suplex by Lyra. I suppose this is for the Women's Championship. Kick out there by Blair. Hawkins, shout out to you. Spurs Gamer says Naomi could lose her title to Jordan Grace at Hard to Kill on January 13th. Hawkins asked, what's your 2024 wrestling wish? Well, the number one thing I want is Sammy to win the world title. I don't know that that will happen this year, but that would always be my number one thing. I would take that over anything. I'll take that over getting Rock Roman. I'll take that over getting Cody finishing his story. I think all of these things will happen anyway. I felt good we would get Rock Roman at some point. I didn't know it would be this year. Oh my God, that was monstrous. Falcon Arrow. Wow. That looked really good by Blair. I need to see a replay of that. The arch of it, the way that she went over Lyra then. Gotta see the replay of that. We're over by the commentary table. Blair looking to deliver a knee. Oh, wow. Lyra moves out the way. Blair drives her knee into the side of the commentary table. Blair is down. Lyra crawling over. Gets back up to her feet. Gets into the ring. So Lyra is down in the ring. Blair's trying to get back into the ring. Lyra grabbing Blair. Oh, she does that move again. Chin breaker. Now Blair is in the ring. Suplex. Got her up. No. Lyra lands on her feet round the back of Blair. Blair into the corner. Lyra into the top turnbuckle. Blair going up. Top rope. Oh, that double stomp misses. Double stomp misses by Blair. Lyra has got her set up. Lovely spin kick. Picks her up on her shoulders. Oh. 1, 2. Lyra wins. Lyra wins. So let's end the poll. I don't know what Lyra's finisher is called. It's a driver move, but you know they like to give these things names. Scores. Oh, yeah, there's the replay of that Falcon Arrow type move. That knee strike where she drove her knee into the side of the table. Some good action there. Lyra won. Jim said Blair should have won that. It was a Tiger Driver 91, said Jeremy. I guess Lyra is no longer using the frog splash, says Tiffany. No, that is Tatum, sorry. Tatum just attacking Lola. Now Elektra has come down. So Lola, Tatum, Elektra, Lyra, they're all brawling. Looked like Lola wanted to cash in her breakout contract. I don't think that works like Money in the Bank, though. Does it? Tatum's got like a girl crush on Lyra. Stay away. Oh, here's Kelly. Breaking news. Oh. No Ilja. Oh no. No Ilja. Ilja is out. He is not cleared. That sucks. So what we doing? That sucks. No Ilja. No NXT Championship match. We know that neck injury is not a real neck injury. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Ilja won't compete. The match is going to happen, says Brony. Yeah. Do you think he's going to be like, no, I am going to wrestle type thing? You can't stop me. It's not a real injury. So they're doing something, but what are they doing? Here's no quarter catch crew. Simon, shout out to you, my friends. I hope you are well. Simon said if Sasha Banks and WWE broke down over money, they could still be talking behind closed doors, and then she could turn up at the Rumble if it's true. That is true. There is a belief, though, that the talks broke down, but they were more successful with AEW. It is Carlito. So Carlito is the person. Yeah, so that is true. Talks could still be continuing, but the problem is there is another player in the game. And it is thought that that other player has got the deal over the line. So, word on the street is she is expected to go to AEW. But listen, and you know, until we actually see it, yeah, we could. I tell you what, this crowd are loving the fact Carlito's here. They are very excited about this. Loud Carlito chants. But yeah, until we actually see her in AEW, rumors and reports are, you know, guides rather than gospel. Guides, not gospel. I like that. Well done, me. That's how we should look at wrestling journalists and journalism. Guides, not gospel. I'm going to put that on my tombstone. Del Toro is in there with Drew Gulak. So, Simon, shout out to you, my friend. It's good thought. Maybe we could still see her at the Royal Rumble if those reports are not accurate. I'd love to see her back in WWE. I think there's still unfinished business, definitely. I think she does return one day. Wow, brilliant work there by Del Toro and Wilds. These two working so well together. Need to get these two. Need to get these two working together on like SmackDown. They've got some really good chemistry together. But then saying that, they've been teaming for a long time now. Over the top, into the corner, goes up top. Missile drop kick by Wilds. Tell you what, the LWO very much in control. No quarter catch crew jumping in. Gulak, Miles Bourne, Damon Kemp. Action spilling to the outside. Wilds to the outsides. Wow! Did you see the distance that Wild just traveled? That was incredible. So, oh my God, look at that. Wow. Wow, they're going to do the replay. It took two of them. He was on the rope. It took two of them to pull the rope at the same time. And he just got slingshotted to the heavens. You're out of there. Oh, you're out of there. He just flew, man. He legit just flew. That was amazing. That was so good. That was so good. Do you know, and we'd seen some innovation from these guys earlier in the match as well. Doing some really good work here. And you know, I don't think I've ever seen that. Standing on the ropes, two of them like pulling the rope back and slingshotting him using the rope. Wow. That was worth watching this show just for that. Really impressive. Little JB said, I don't trust Tony Khan nowadays. If Mercedes does go to AEW, she's either going to be a big star or lost in the shuffle. There's just no in between. Oh, net breaker. I think she'd be a big star. I think they would push her because of the amount of money they'd be paying her. The difference between her and Paige is Paige can't wrestle. So they're very limited with Paige. She can do the odd match every now and again, but they can't use her on a regular basis. Whereas Mercedes, they absolutely can. I think as well, Mercedes is... she's been a lot more active active more recently. I think there is a lot to be said for inactivity. I think when you've been on the road doing promos, it being in feuds, having matches, being in front of crowds, you're in that rhythm. There's like a rhythm and you're in it. Someone like Paige was out of that rhythm for a long time, and I think it's not unfair to say that since she's come back, she's struggled. She has struggled. I don't know if like now she's in that rhythm, we're in a better place, but some of that early stuff Paige was doing when she first came back, people were not that impressed. But you know, she'd been out the rhythm for a while, so I think that Mercedes would be okay going to AEW. I just don't know that there's much of a roster there for her to really engage with. I can't give you loads of names for her to have feuds with in AEW. I suppose you could say like a Britt Baker, a Jamie Hayter, a Toni Storm, a Thunder Rosa, a Chris Statlander. But honestly, at that point, we're starting to get slim pickings. Here's Carlito. Feels like we need to parachute in like a good 3-4 women. Mercedes on her own, I just don't think it's going to be enough for that women's division. This is why if they can get Deonna Purrazzo as well, that'd be a good pickup. And honestly, if Naomi is leaving Impact, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm making that call. Can I get Naomi? Oh, I want Naomi. If I'm Tony, I want Naomi. Can I get Jordan Grace? Can I get Camille? She's available. Spinebuster by Carlito. Drew Gulak makes the save. Michael said, no excuses. Y'all got who you wanted in charge of WWE, Triple H, so no excuses about nothing and the talent. You can't blame Vince for anything now. Slam down there by Damon Kemp. Back elbow by Carlito. Carlito charging over. Oh, backbreaker. Yeah, says Booker. Booker's loving it. Everyone is down in this one. Let's end our match poll and we'll add the match to our match list. So that was good 42% for that first one. Good 42%. Wow. Whacking Wilds. Spinning his way to the outside. Kick coming in by Del Toro. Backstabber by Carlito. Del Toro looking to go up top. Carlito has got Damon Kemp. Feels like LWO are ready to put this away. Del Toro splashes down. An LWO win. So a win for LWO. Scores. Let's see what people thought. So a win for LWO. Some really great action in that. Really great action. That slingshot is amazing. They're showing a replay of it. And so they should. The Lucha Launcher. Oh, I love that. Lucha Launcher. We are going to straighten this out. Wow. Carlito spits in the face of Gulak. Simon, shout out to you. Simon said, if Sasha, aka Mercedes, was approached so many times in the past and rejected them, I don't think she wants AEW. Trick says, I can't wait for him to get healthy. Grayson Waller? Grayson Waller's here. Grayson says, I was the original Iron Survivor. I'm on SmackDown now. I wrestle legends, says Grayson Waller. New t-shirt for Trick Williams. Number one contender shot on the line tonight. Right. I'm going to go get some water. Give me a second. So I wasn't expecting Grayson Waller to show up. Lovely to see him though. And it saves our main event, but I don't get why we're not getting it. Because that injury is not a real injury. Or at least, well, no, it definitely wasn't, but I wonder if it was hiding a real injury. I wonder if we did it because Ilja is actually injured, but the Ridge Holland thing wasn't real. So it leaves me a bit confused. Who took the pin? I missed the match. Oh, who did take the pin? I think it was Damon Kemp. I think Damon Kemp took the pin. It's looking like Rock Roman at Elimination Chamber. What's your thoughts? I know you touched on it, but I want to know more. Would you prefer it at Mania? Would I prefer it at Mania? Would I prefer it at Mania? I think I would. I think I would prefer it at Mania, but in all fairness, that just makes Elimination Chamber massive. But yeah, I mean, that definitely feels like a match that should be at Mania, doesn't it? Definitely does. But this way, Cody still gets to finish the story. So, you know, it's hard to complain, isn't it? WWE are going, here's Rock versus Roman. And I tell you what, we'll seemingly finish the story as well. Life of Daz says, Happy New Year. Hope you have an awesome one. Thank you, my friend. Same to you. Same to you. Trick wasn't down with that, said Danny D. Grayson versus Trick is the replacement. Yeah. Mr. Dow Jr. said, what do you think was better? The Rock returning or last year or Raw? Raw Day won by a million miles. I was quite critical of his return last year. And it all makes sense. It all makes sense because last year clearly was not planned. So he walked out in a segment that just didn't feel like it needed him. If The Rock's going to come back, then come back for a reason, right? And he did. I mean, on the show last night, he came back because, well, Jinder was running down America and we can't have that, right? So he came back to put Jinder in his place. But not only that, he came back because he had a message, shall I sit at the head of the table, right? And it made a lot more sense. On SmackDown, Theory was in the ring, but the point I made at the time was Pat was in there as well. And every time Theory was trying to get heat, Pat was there to, try and put it out. It didn't make any sense. We didn't need The Rock to come back and have a word with Austin Theory. We didn't need it. The segment didn't call for it. That segment was not it should have been Theory in the ring on his own, just going crazy on the crowd, really laying into them. The crowd booing him out of the building, looking for someone to stand up to him, and then boom, here comes The Rock. That would have been better. But saying that, even then, he wouldn't have had a message like he had this time. That line of head of the table, I mean, wow. It's not even close. It's not even remotely close. This was way better. Way better. We're seeing Riley Osbourne. He's talking of what it's going to mean to him to win this breakout tournament. He's saying that Femi has got an advantage in every category. And he has. He's talking about adding his name onto the list of great European superstars. Trick Williams versus Grayson Waller, Battle of the Iron Survivors. I mean, to be honest, it's okay, because I don't think any of us thought that Trick was going to win the title, right? So Carmelo can still turn on him. Ariana Grace in the ring then. She's taking on Roxanne. Okay, let's end this poll. We'll start a new poll. I am recording these results now. So, another goods for that last one. I think we're getting this. 41%, great 36. So, we're seeing what happened a few weeks ago. Okay, we are underway. Roxanne Perez taking on Ariana Grace. $41. Boom. Michael said WrestleMania 40 four-way for the women's tag titles. Sasha and Trinity versus Bianca Jade. Asuka Kairi versus Chance and Carter. Big Time said the Trick Grayson match feels flat for a last-minute decision that was a selling point. You take that out and the show doesn't feel as big. Well, I agree it doesn't feel as big because an NXT title match is always an NXT title match. But I think I didn't expect Trick to win the title. there will have been people hoping that he could. But I didn't expect him to. I felt pretty good Ilja was going to retain, and I thought that Carmelo would cost him. And I think that him against Grayson is still going to provide that opportunity for Carmelo to cost him. But it is, I don't disagree with you. You know, there will be plenty of people that were tuning in that are really behind Trick Williams, hoping that this was going to be the night that he was going to get the job done. And that's been took away, you know. All of a sudden now he's not fighting for the belt. He's fighting to just remain the #1 contender. That is very different. That is very different. Maybe she will use the Cobra like her dad said, Jeremy. Jaden, shout out to you, but it sounds worse than it is, but my head feels fine. I just have no voice. And also, my nose is still giving me a bit of jip. I've still got a runny nose for whatever reason, but... Roxanne goes face first into the middle turnbuckle. Slingshotted into the middle rope. Roxanne is hurled into the corner. Ariana Grace comes in after her. Oof, suplex. But seemed to spike her a little bit on her head. I don't think her head did contact the mat, but it was quite close. Ariana Grace is got a chin lock applied. She's got, that's interesting. Cobra clutch. She had a knee on her back and she was pulling up on the chin. So she really had the chin going up, knee in the back. It was... I like it. Big boot to the midsection by Ariana Grace. She's got Roxanne by the hair. Slams her down face first. Crowd a little bit flat for this, but we haven't seen much of Ariana Grace in all fairness. There's a let's go Roxy chant. I've tagged you in so much, says Bembo. Okay. Let's have a look. Perez goes back against the ropes. Boot to... Oh, no, gets caught by Roxanne. Lovely forearm strikes. Roxanne wailing away on Ariana. Oh, big shot. Drop kick. Kip up by Roxanne. Just lost her foot in. Charging over. Collides into Ariana Grace. Big shot coming in. She's raining down these blows. Again, face first. Collapses down in the middle of the ring. Ariana Grace grabbing. Roxanne, no joy. Pop rocks. Pop rocks. Gets it. 1, 2, 3. It's a win for Roxanne Perez. Used in Pop Rocks. That's good. I've retweeted it, Bembo. That's what Bembo tweeted me. That's Grayson Waller back in NXT. You've got issues. You need help, says Ariana Grace, as Roxanne takes Ariana down. Yeah, Roxanne's going mental on Ariana Grace. Pow, pow, pow. Unloading away. Got a crossface applied. She has snapped. She has snapped. She's gone cray-cray. Let's go, let's do a poll on this, what people thought of that match. All time. Great. Goods. Nah. Here's Alicia Taylor coming over. We got a few... Oh, they're going to reverse it. I think they are. They've reversed the decision. Ariana Grace wins. I hate it when they do that. I hate that. Didn't they do that for Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole? Here's Ava. Dusty Tag Team Classic starts next week. Okay. So, Tiffany Fallon coming up next. Simon said, I think the big announcement on Thursday is going to be the confirmation of TNT getting Raw. Ooh, don't know. I would think that would have leaked, to be honest. I would think that would get in the dirt sheets first. Plus, also, that is later in the year. Don't know. I'm thinking it might... that's interesting, because we haven't spoke about what we think it could be. My initial reaction is that he's going to announce a new tournament or something along those lines. The where Raw's moving to, I mean, that's later in the year. I think business-wise, they would announce that to the shareholders and whatever through like a proper press release, you know, rather than tune into the preview show. I don't think they would do it. I don't think they'd do it that way. But what is it? What do you think Triple H's announcement on the preview show is going to be? You see, I think it's like, we're going to do an event at the Sphere. It could be something like that. It could be, we're going to do a brand new tournament. I'm bringing back King of the Ring. You know, something like this. That's the kind of thing I can't pin it down exactly at what it's going to be, though. Coming up next, Tiffany Fallon. Daze, would you fancy yourself as a longshoreman? What type of treasure would you search for? I don't know what a longshoreman is. It's hard to fancy myself of something I don't know what it is. What I can tell you is that I went fishing in Mexico once with my dad. We were on holiday many years ago, and I went fishing because I had never been deep sea fishing. Never really been fishing, but I'd never been deep sea fishing. I thought, well, that'll be interesting. Out in the sunshine on a boat, catching some fish. Just, you know what I mean? That's an experience, isn't it? You and your dad, that's an experience. We were both throwing up horrifically over the side of that. We were both green. We were both. The dude was like, "Are you sure you're English? Aren't English like? Isn't England surrounded by water?" We were like, "Shut up." Just stop the boat from rocking. So we were just horrifically hurling and throwing up. It was not good. It was not good at all. I remember I did catch a fish though. I caught a fish because I was like, I was so determined. I was like, I am catching a fish. So I'm there going, give me a second, like this. And I'm like, right, what have I got to do? I mean, they don't care because they've seen so many people be seasick before. It's nothing to them, you know. They've seen loads of people. So to them, they're like, just throw over the side, whatever. Even if you throw up in the boat, they just get a bucket of water and chuck it on it. And the waves were coming over the boat anyway. So even if you did throw up in the boat, it'd soon get washed away. It wasn't even that rough. Do you know what's weird? Like, I've never really gone out to sea. So I mean, and if I have, like, it's been on a ferry or something. But when you're on a boat, you're not just obviously going that way, right, side to side. You're going side to side, but also back to front. So you've got all that going up. But then you've also got the up and down as well. So you've got, like, you've kind of got everything. Imagine that, everything going on at the same time. Up and down, side to side, back to front. Like, you've got, if you do that just in your chair right now, going up and down, side to side, and back to front, just like, you can soon feel, oh, that's, you know, that doesn't feel brilliant. It's not a great sensation, let's put it that way. Imagine like 3 hours of not being able to escape that. Imagine being out at sea and you just cannot escape it. There's no hiding place. There's no refuge. There's nowhere where you can go. There's something horrible about it, but also something quite freeing, because you know there's no escape. And you know, oh, all I can do is throw up. That's all I can do. I can't do anything else. My purpose on this planet right now is to just throw up. That's it. That's my only purpose. Because that's all I can provide humanity right now. I cannot contribute anything to humanity other than throw up over this boat. But I was like, God damn it, I'm catching a fish. I did catch a fish. And then I went back to throwing up again. So I don't think I'd make a very good longshoreman, to be honest. I don't think I'd make a very good fisherman. It's not my vocation, let's put it that way. Hey, look, we're backstage with Blair. She has bumped into Nikita. I'm showing you the respect you failed to show me. Nikita says we can go right now. Okay. Right, Tiffany Stratton. Next match coming up. Tiffany versus Fallon. A lot of women matches early, says Gerald's. Dysfunction said, look at Sean's recent tweet. Seemingly a former NXT champion is stopping by and watching the main event. Could this be Andrade? Well, that would be great if so. Tiffany Stratton cleaning stables. I've got Fallon winning this. Aaron said, crazy idea. The night after WrestleMania, Dustin returns. Tell Cody, here is Dusty Boots. Put the title on them. Priest comes out. Dusty hits Cody with the boots. Dustin hits Cody with the boots. Dustin hits Cody with the boots. Oh, I'm trying to figure that out, how I feel about that. Trying to figure that out. That's a whole lot to unpack, innit? So, Cody wins the title. Love it. He finishes the story. Because at some point he's going to symbolically, say, here, this is yours. Then the next night, Dustin comes out and says, here's Dad's boots. Put the belt on them. Let's do this right. And then as he goes to do it, he grabs the boots, like wallops him over the head or whatever. Or does it just before he puts them down. And then out comes Damian Priest. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I think I would be so confused as to why Dustin had done that to Cody. Obviously, we would get an answer, but I would need an answer. Why has he done that to Cody? Is it jealousy? I suppose you could say jealousy. And then Damian capitalizes. Maybe he doesn't do it for Damian. Perhaps he just does it because he's jealous, and then Damian's like, this is my chance. Maybe that you go that way. That's really interesting. Really interesting. I'm not just saying it. I honestly don't know how I feel about it. I feel like there's a lot of stuff there which I like, and I think the stuff I don't like could be explained. The big one for me is why has he done it? What's his motivation? But if it's jealousy, the only thing I would say that's disappointing would be that Cody finally is the one that beats Roman. Right, the Roman, whose historic title reign was so long, who's going to beat him? Well, it's Cody. And then it's immediately took away, or the next night it's took away. That would feel a bit of a shame, but I'm not against it, because I also was saying that last year, if Cody had won, I would be quite tempted to have Theory cash in straight away, or whoever had money in the bank, get them to cash in straight away on Cody. So I said that last year, so I can't have a problem with a cash in the next night, Yeah, I don't mind it. It's for some reason it's not sitting totally right, and I can't quite put my finger on why. But I like the out the box thinking, but I don't know that Dustin's free, is he? I don't think he's coming in. I think he's probably happy with AEW at the moment. Right, let's end this poll. That last one, which was the Ariana Grace Roxanne Perez match, that got good 39%. I like this. I think this is a much better way of scoring it. I really like it. Eric said we could get a fatal four-way between Randy, LA, Roman, AJ. Randy wins. Then we get Cody Randy at WrestleMania and Rock Roman at WrestleMania, says Eric. Where can I watch this? Well, it's on USA in America. in the UK, it's on the WWE network. Simon said, if WWE sign MJF, would you put him on NXT for a year to settle in, then move him to the main roster? That's a great question. That's a great question. That is a great question. I think I would just put him straight on the main roster. I think that there's a big difference between MJF and Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill is someone who felt like she was lacking in AEW. She never had like great banging matches, and she felt like there was something missing. MJF feels like he's their best star, right? I don't think that's offensive. He feels like he is like the top dog. He's like the leader and the others are just following him. No one seems to be able to like out-talk him, out-maneuver him in AEW. So I feel like the only things he needs to learn is the WWE way of doing things rather than the AEW way. Now, whether that can just be taught to him behind closed doors, I don't know how long that process would take. Because it's true, I'm sure there are differences between the companies. Different cues, just different things that you need to know. Different expectations. You know, words, for example, that you can't say. Just differences. Production differences. Different, I don't know, messages that get passed from the referees, or different buzzwords that you need to know. Like, there will be differences between how AEW operate and how WWE operate. So, yeah, I definitely feel that we could see him having to go to the Performance Center to go through those differences. I don't think he needs NXT for developmental, like to learn his craft. But he may need NXT and the PC for those lessons. The welcome to WWE, this is how we do things lessons. Now, the only thing I don't know is how long that takes. So you either do that behind closed doors, or you do put him in NXT for a while. Not long. Put him in there for a few months, which is great for NXT ratings. It also introduces him to people that haven't watched AEW, so that when he gets called up, hopefully there'll be some more people that will be aware of him that maybe aren't already, you know. So yeah, I wouldn't see that as like a disrespectful thing. I wouldn't see that as like, what, you're joking, MJF in NXT? And no, that's not how I view it. I view it as there's things he needs to learn. There are differences he needs to learn. And to be honest, NXT is going to be on the CW network, and it needs ratings. And it is for the smart wrestling fans as well. Like, NXT is like, you've really got to be into your wrestling to watch NXT, because it's developmental. So like MJF, like spending a couple of months there, not long, but a couple of months, it'll just help the ratings. It'll help the ratings. He can learn what he needs to learn and then go to the main roster. It's not a problem, is it? No, I don't see an issue with it. Just a short-term, quick little thing. No problem. But to be honest, I think you could probably teach him what he needs to know behind the scenes and just debut him on the main roster. Big kick there, wow, by Fallon. And Fallon wins. Fallon with a running knee strike has picked up the victory. That means Tiffany is now going to have to work the stables. Lol. Mitchell said, just my personal fun fantasy booking. MJF and Ricky Starks end up in WWE, and Orton and Cody make a new legacy evolution with Cody, Orton, Starks, and MJF. Mitchell, I hope you well. Hope you've had a good New Year, buds. Let's do a poll. She tells her to pick up the towel. So now Tiffany is going to have to be that stable hand. Here's Braun and Baron. Dusty Classic. Are they thinking of teaming? I actually think we would be a good team. Bron Breakker finds that hilarious. Is anyone else knocking on your door to be your partner? You're a smug, arrogant a-hole. Baron Corbin says, we're both a-holes. They would destroy everyone together, actually. Bron's like, you are making a really good point. They would work really well together. Yeah. Me leading the team. Yeah, he's on board with it. Bron said, this'll be fun. Walks away. Left him hanging, but came back. Hello. All the smoke, what's happening? Oh, Obourne Femi. Oh, we're doing the breakout match. Or is this just a video package? Oh, I like Obourne Femi. I'm an Obourne Femi stan. I like Obourne Femi. Comes from Nigeria. Strength is expected in Nigeria. Riley Osbourne will crumble under my feet. Lovely shots of Nigeria. Seeing like a market. Busy streets. I tell you what, they've made that match feel really big. Seeing Riley like say what it means to him to win and add his name to the greats, you know, of European wrestling. Rich Holland is going to have a sit-down interview as well. There is a lot going on. A lot going on. Mitchell said, Obourne Femi Kenobi. Let's go. Obourne Femi Kenobi. Yeah, I really like him. I really rate him. I got a lot of time for him. Right. Oh, they've said Roman is going to be on SmackDown on Friday as well. One epic week. So, bump tomorrow, preview special on Thursday, SmackDown on Friday. Let's go. Let's go. Days over Femi reminds me of Big E, said Bembo. Michael said, have you read any good books lately? Dude, I've not read any good books, bad books, or any books. Reading is not for me. It's a little bit too time consuming. So no. I have got a Kindle. And I do, but to be honest, I've only got it to take notes. I've got one of those Kindle Scribes. I got it refurbished, so it was cheaper. But I've just got notes everywhere. So it makes a lot more sense for me to just put them all into one device. And so I've got it for that. But I do have some wrestling books on there. Things that I want to read. But, God, you know. I have had, quite a bit of time away from work over this past week, because of being ill. The problem is, I've been ill. So, it's not been a case that I can, lie there reading. I've either been asleep or trying to get work done or trying to find a way of getting rid of this cold. So, I just never find the time to, commit to reading a book. Tall Guy said Shawn Michaels tweeted he got a call from a former NXT champion. They're gonna watch the main event tonight. Aubrey said, is he the third man of the Nigerian Terrors faction led by Omos? I'm not aware of a faction that's led by Omos. Jaden said, what happened to Apollo? You could pair him with Obourne. He got drafted, didn't he, to Raw or SmackDown? He's on the main roster. I think he's away from NXT. So don't think he's around NXT. You could always bring him back again. But yeah, I think we've got options with Obourne. I think there's lots that we can do with him. We're about to find out if he's about to win the breakout tournament, so he's very early on in his journey. Jaden said, have you seen the new Iron Claw movie? If you haven't, do you plan to? I haven't seen it. I have no plans to see it. The inaccuracies in it, or the things that have been left out, you're not getting the true picture. You're getting something close, and I think if you don't know anything about the Von Erichs, it's probably going to be a really good watch. But I think if you want to watch a film based on wrestling, based on it, it's probably a good watch. If you want to really find out about them, there's going to be better sources. It's better places to get the information from, more factually accurate. There's videos doing the rounds online of the 10 things that Iron Claw got wrong type videos, because they've given it a bit of Hollywood sparkle. So I don't know. I don't have any plans to see it. I would much rather watch a documentary that was based on actual footage and actually told the story rather than a Hollywood dramatization. But I hope if people saw it, they enjoyed it. I don't have any ill feelings towards it, but it's not high on my list of things to watch now. I would probably watch it if it came to Netflix, but no, I've not seen it. Bunker says, you might get your wish. New Year's Evil is off to a hot start. I got a call from a former NXT champ who wants to stop by and watch the main event, says Bunkers. Dad Stuff said, Daze needs to take his notes and compile them into a book called Daze's Scribbles. This coming full circle with the Kindle and completing his story. Oh, hello, we're in the locker room. Cora Jade. Gigi is in Cora's locker space. Well, they're all sat in the wrong place. We both know where this is going. We haven't seen Stevie in forever. Stevie's jumping in between them. Do you remember she used to do that gimmick of being a streamer? And she was doing it like way better than I ever will. That was depressing. That was pretty depressing. You haven't seen her in a while. Well, she keeps popping up in the background, but I don't know what we're doing with her. I don't know if she's injured or... But if she was injured, why would she be there? Right, we've got a sit-down interview with Ridge Holland. It's true. I'm no stranger to injuries or mishaps. Oh, yeah. Dislocated kneecap. Horrible pictures. In that moment, I thought it was all over. How can I tell my wife I'm sorry? I pulled you away from your family and now it's all gone wrong. That must have been a really horrible time for him. And her. Imagine his wife, pregnant. Now her husband's got like 2 broken legs. Bittersweet. Brawling brutes. Day one. He got his nose broken at day 1. He has been through it, hasn't he? And then his kids were born. No. We're just skirting over the Big E thing. How can we do a story based on injury and mishap and do a real heartfelt, this is how I felt about this is how I felt about that, and then not talk about the Big E thing? Or talk about the Pretty Deadly thing? I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm a friend, I'm not a monster, says Ridge. I'm here to show everyone. I'm here to prove myself. I find that so frustrating, you know. I find that really frustrating. I loved that. I was really loving it. This was cards on the table. Let's talk about it. This is what happened to me. This is what I went through. I broke my legs, had to come back from it, smashed my nose. Responsible. He was also responsible for, you know, he played a part, let's put it that way, in Big E's career-ending injury. And we're just not talking about that. And some people will say, well, no, because maybe that's too real and they don't want to bring it up and all this kind of stuff and it involves someone else. But I would like to think that they've checked in with Big E for this story anyway, because I think this is a bit too real and a bit too on the nose. I feel like you should have checked in with Big E anyway. I don't think you should be doing this kind of a story if you haven't checked in with Big E. Just feels like we did something and we were doing something really good and we just bottled it. We just didn't go far enough with it. We only told the side of it that built up sympathy for Ridge, and we didn't tell the full story, and it feels misleading. It doesn't feel genuine. I was really with him. I was really feeling it. I was rooting for him, and he was giving his side, and I was waiting for the Big E bit for him to give his side, and they didn't touch it, and they only showed his hardship, his injuries. Just feels a bit dishonest to only give that one side and not tell the full story. And the only other bit where he injured Ilja, we know that's scripted anyway, so I don't know. Disappointing. I felt there was something really good there. The Beach said, I think there's still more time to tell Ridge's story. I would agree, had they not have just skipped over and then gone to Ilja. If they'd have got up to that day one bit and then stopped it, then you might think, oh, there may be a part two. But they went to day one, completely jumped over Big E, completely jumped over the injury to Elton Prince, and just went to the NXT fake injury. So they skipped it. Unless they're going to go back part two, we're going to talk about Big E as a separate part. Doesn't feel like we're going to do that. I know that some people will say, look, the Big E thing is very serious. They probably don't want to bring it up because it's serious and it's Big E and they just don't want to touch it. Well, my counter to that would be, well, let's not do this story then. If we're not going to be honest and we're not going to tell the full thing, let's not pick and choose. Because it just comes across as dishonest. It comes across as just one-sided. Like, that doesn't build sympathy for Ridge Holland now. It just seems fake and phony. It seems like you're doing it only to build sympathy. It doesn't seem like you're doing it to be genuine and honest. It seems like you're doing it to build sympathy, and that's your primary purpose, and that's all you want to do. It just makes it seem fake. When it could have been something really good. It could have been something genuinely get it off your chest, you know? Because I actually don't know what his thoughts are about the Big E situation. I don't know that I've ever heard his side. I know his answer would be, these things happen in wrestling. I didn't mean anything by it. Or, you know, it was it was one of those wrestling incidents and I think about him all the time. I'm sure it would be an answer like that. But I think for fans to hear him say something like that, like how it's been hard for him to live with and how he thinks about him all the time, I think for fans to hear that, it would mean a lot. That would have meant a lot. And I don't know why we couldn't have done that. Someone has made the call to not do that. I know it might seem like we're spending a long time on it, but that felt like a real... It felt different. And it felt like quite a talking point, actually. Like, well, what did you think of that Ridge Holland interview? I can see a lot of people saying that. What did you think of the Ridge Holland interview? That's going to be a talking point. And my answer to that is that I feel that it felt a bit fake. I liked it as I was watching it, but the fact they then jump over the Big E and the Pretty Deadly thing just made it feel a bit... I know why you're doing this. Right, we are underway with the final. Where are we? What was this last match? Oh, it was Fallon and Tiffany, wasn't it? So you lot said that was good, 43%. Great, 22. 15%. Right, I'm adding these scores. I'll show you, actually, so that people can see where we are. And a big thank you as well. I think people are really getting this scoring system now, which is really great, because it's going to be in our benefit to get this right, because we can then look at this and really see the best matches as this year progresses. So, you know, if we just keep saying everything's A, it's just all going to be irrelevant. It's all going to be irrelevant. Because we need to be very honest about sorting the matches out, right? So that at the end of the year, we can see the good ones and see the bad ones. So I think the fact that we're being a bit more conservative is going to make this a much better, more reliable gauge going forward, you know? So I really like that rule of, like, try to only click on the top option, like, once a stream, and if you don't click on it at all in a stream, it's fine if no match really did, like, blow your mind, because there will be shows where no match does, and that's fine. Save it for when a match really does blow your mind. But this is where we are with the match scores with two shows. So at the moment, Becky and Nia has been the best match, and you know, I think I would agree with that, actually. I did enjoy the LWO no quarter catch crew thing. I can tell you that the next one is this. And it is C, 43%. And it was Fallon Henley versus Tiffany Stratton. NXT 1, 2, 2, 4. It was Fallon Henley that was victorious. Oh. So green is the winners. Pop, pop. And we'll pop that in bold. Pop. So that's how things are looking at the moment. And we'll just keep an eye on it as things keep progressing. I think that's going to be really good as we continue throughout the year. Okay, so Riley is down. Riley Osbourne against Obourne Femi. Got half an hour to go. Obourne grabbing Riley. He's got him in a bear hug. He's got a good squeeze on. Thea is watching on. Thea was backstage. She went and had a chat with Riley. JC and Thea cheering Riley on. Riley with a forearm strike, elbow strike. Riley is battling away here. Riley was my pick for this. Obourne, Femi, though, so strong, colliding into Riley. Uppercut. Riley goes into the corner. Raw was awesome yesterday, says Amin. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. We need to add that score into our show scores. So not only are we recording matches, we're recording show scores. So we'll see what the community scored it at the end of this show. The Rock's daughter is back. She looks prettier as an assistant, says Thomas. Femi into the corner. I don't know why. Oh, there we go. Drop kick by Riley. Femi goes down. Riley on his feet. Wow, comes crashing down on Femi. 2. Kick out by Obourne. What are your thoughts? Mr. Dow Jr. says. Bishop said, any update on Jade? No update on Jade. Mr. Dow Jr. says, what are your thoughts about Raw Day 1? Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. I thought that it was one of those shows that you really had to watch. You didn't want to miss that. I mean, The Rock alone. But I thought the in-ring was good. I really enjoyed Becky Nia. Thought the main event was fine. I know people were upset about Drew, but I was fine with it. Yeah, I love the Cade and Katana in the club thing. I just think that's got a lot of potential for other superstars. So it was just an easy watch. I mean, I definitely would have been like 7.5 kind of area, maybe even knocking on 8, because maybe knocking on 8. That, I don't know that we would have got there. We were maybe just a match away. Like, maybe we needed one more. 7.75 feels like my answer. But that Rock moment is so big, of him indicating he wants Roman. It's such a big moment. I really enjoyed it. Powerbomb by Femi. Riley might be done. 2, 3. Femi gets the win. Femi gets the win. Let's get scores. They've gone all in on Femi. I don't blame them for doing it. He's a fantastic talent. Either of these would have been great winners. Mitchell said, I've got a massive issue with this. Are we supposed to feel bad for him after they literally just did that he injures people angle? It's a good point. I think they're trying to go. I don't think they're doing a he injures people angle. I think they're doing a like his cursed type angle, and they're trying to show that he has been injured as much as he has injured. So everyone looks at him and goes, Big E, Big E, Big E. But what about when he blew out both his legs in NXT? What about when he busted his nose at day 1? You know. So I think they're trying to go with in mishaps, injuries, either to him or others, follow this guy around. But that just makes him seem more unsafe, you know? That just makes him seem more unsafe. It doesn't really build up sympathy. I will say, hear him talking about his family and talking about moving over from the UK and moving his pregnant wife over and really wanting this to work and everything. You do see more of the human side of him And so that had me, and I was like, okay, let's, you know, I know he doesn't do these things on purpose. No, I don't think anyone thinks he does these things on purpose. So, like, you understand it. I understand it, you know. So you go, okay, there's a person here who really wants this to work for him, and he's moved his whole life over. And then they showed the injuries he's had in NXT, and you're like, yeah, he's been through it, man. That must have been really hard. There must have been some really hard times. Imagine, like, your pregnant wife coming over, and then you've got to say, I've done both my legs. You know, he's probably in a wheelchair. He probably can't help her. She's pregnant. I mean, like, there must have been some really difficult times. But then it just feels so disappointing and cheap to then not touch on the Big E stuff and not touch on the Pretty Deadly stuff, you know? Yeah, I think I've made my feelings clear on it. I was very disappointed by the end of that sit-down interview. And at one point, I was really into it. So I can understand why you weren't a fan, Mitchell. We've got Kiana and we've got Izzy Dame. In 2024, with my guidance, everyone will know who Izzy Dame is, says Kiana. How could you put my title match on the line? Carmelo said, we've got to start practicing like we play. Trick ain't happy about his title opportunity being on the line. Trick said he wants to do it by himself. Trick said, I need to run this play alone. I feel what you're saying, says Carmelo. Oh, he's not happy, is he, man? How is this going to play out? How is this going to play out? I feel like Trick is definitely getting screwed. Definitely getting screwed. Right. Let's end the poll. I know we didn't get tons of votes on that. 49% good. I'll add that. Will you do boxing on Saturday in Crawford division with Virgil Ortiz fighting his highly rated? Not at the moment, I'm not, no. My priority is to just get my voice back. So my first thought is get my voice back. I don't know if it's going to be back good enough by the weekend. But, so at the moment, no. I really, really need to get my voice back. I can't. My concern is that if I keep doing streams with it like this, I wonder if it not ever recover, but I feel like I'm definitely delaying its recovery. You know, I feel like if I hadn't have streamed anything on Sunday, anything on Monday, would it be back to normal now? Maybe. Maybe it would. Maybe it wouldn't. Maybe it would. I certainly don't think doing a 5-hour stream yesterday did it any good whatsoever. Any good. And I would imagine doing the NXT stream tonight has done it no good whatsoever. But I ain't missing these streams, right? So we're here for these streams. But I am off tomorrow. So I'm keeping everything crossed. That just resting it tomorrow. Even if I don't do anything, right? I mean, I will. I'm sure I'll do some sort of work, but just... There'll be a LOL video that goes up tomorrow. was a good one, actually. Tomorrow should be, do you remember the classic Edge, Kurt Angle, backstage, you suck with the arrows and everything? Should be that one, which is a good one. So that should be going on the channel tomorrow. And I will try to get an unseen video done. There's no point doing it now, because by the time the stream finishes, it's going to be me going, right, guys. You know, we're just going to be whispering. So I'll rest it and then try and get it done tomorrow. But then I need to let it rest, man. I need to let it rest. So yeah, I've got, you know, doing like boxing streams and everything this weekend. I don't know. It's not on my agenda at the moment. Obourne Femi versus Riley Osbourne. Raw 1, 2. No, not Raw. What am I doing? NXT 1, 2, 2, 4. Bang, bang, bang. That one was well received, actually. I think that was the highest rated NXT match of the night so far. Obourne Femi against which, again, do you know what I would agree with? I did enjoy Lyra Blair, and I do think that LWO maybe could have been a little higher, but there's not loads in it. There's not loads in it. So it's like, obviously we're all going to have slightly different opinions. I mean, it's there or thereabouts. I'm loving it. I think it's definitely the right way forward. Aiden said, have you seen the Sean tweet about a former NXT champ? Who do you think it'll be? Well, I don't care. We'll find out. It could be Andrade. I thought that he was going to be up with the LWO. It wasn't. Now we get a tweet saying that a former NXT champ's going to be there. If it is Andrade, brilliant. That's the talking point that I'm looking for. Like, I'm looking for that. I think we're going to get a talking point. I think we're going to get Carmelo turn on Trick. But to be honest, if it turns out to be like Johnny Gargano, it's not that exciting, to be honest. And then if Carmelo doesn't turn on Trick, then it'll be a bit of a flat ending. So we could be on the verge of Johnny Gargano in the crowd and Trick just wins against Grayson, right? Which would, in my opinion, fine, but... Or it could be Andrade, big talking point, and then Carmelo turns on Trick, big talking point. That's a much better ending. So we could go a few different ways here. So I'd hope that it would be Andrade, but let's wait and see. Does Carmelo screw over Trick? Are we? I don't know what's happening with the I've just got a black screen. I've got to say, it's not quite as good of an experience watching NXT on the network as it is watching it on TV. Okay, we're backstage with Chase U. JC says she's gonna bring Chase U up from the depths of hell. Here's Tatum and Lyra. Tatum says, as long as you're still champion, everything is right in the world. We've got Nathan Frazier, Axiom, and we've got Brooks in the background. PJ said, Daze, what happened to Biggie? I don't know. There was a belly-to-belly suplex by Ridge, and I mean, I must admit, it's a bit tricky to pinpoint exactly what went wrong. I think what happened was he didn't give Biggie time to, like, really launch himself, you know? He kind of sort of deadlifted him. And so, because he's strong and he deadlifted Biggie, when he threw him, Biggie didn't have, like, the spring. Because when you do a belly-to-belly, the person that's receiving it should really, like, spring up. Because that extra spring is what launches them and then they can, like, go over, right? Because he sort of didn't allow him to get that spring, he sort of just deadlifted him and lifted him over. It meant that Big E didn't have enough momentum to get a full rotation, and he ended up coming down onto his head. So it was the fault. The problem was that initial bit at the start, and so he goes over. He comes down onto his head. There's so many different things that can go wrong with those types of moves, you know? It is one of those things where you go, he didn't mean that. And, you know, he got it just wrong. And, I don't know, does Big E take any responsibility in it? I don't know. It's difficult. Could Big E have, like, chucked himself over a little bit more? Oh, clearly not. I don't think I feel comfortable in saying, like, oh, I completely botched it. It was a disgrace. I am very much like, it's one of those things that can happen. But it did happen. And, you know, we haven't seen Big E since. It's been, it will have been 2 years in March, I believe. And his career could be done. I mean, at the very least, he's lost 2 years of his career. At the very least. So, it was horrific. He's lucky to not be paralysed. Joe Gacy was in the trunk of a car, by the way. Tony and Stax are going to be defending against OTM next week. Also next week, Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic begins. Let's go. Gigi and Cora, they are competing next week. We saw their little backstage spat. Aiden said, do you think Andrade will return? I don't know. I don't know. I thought he was going to be in the position that Carlito was in. So I feel like I've already took my shot. I've already had my say, and it didn't come off. So I can't say, can I? I mean, Zelina Vega said she had a secret, but she could have been referring to Carlito. So, we'll see. Grayson in the ring. I'm back. This is still my house, says Grayson. Trick Williams making his way down. Main event time. Oh, crowd are up for this. Broken Dream said they said a former NXT champ's going to show up. I think a former NXT champ tonight is Owens because he's feuding with Wallace as real. NXT champ, I think, is Tommaso Ciampa, says Malik. Okay, Trick in the ring. Booker T says, I'm loving it because I'm going to see Grayson Waller get the hell beat out of him. Bell sounds. Now, the fact that they haven't shown us this talent that wants to watch this match makes me think Andrade, because if it was Tommaso or Johnny, why would they not just show them sat in the crowd? Sean said this person wanted to stop by to watch this main event, so that would imply that they're going to sit in the crowd to watch the main event, right? And if it's Tommaso or whatever, is it going to be that big of a pop? I mean, it'll be all right, but they seem to be saving it. They seem to be saving it. They seem to be, like, teasing it, building it, like they haven't shown it. Seemingly, they're going to reveal it after the main event, which makes me think Andrade again. Grayson gets slammed down. Mr. Dow Jr. said, I don't care who returns. Grayson, Trick, Battle of the Iron Survivors, says WWE AEW fan. Oh, Jim said, what if it's Mandy Rose? 1, 2. Kick out. Charlotte's husband. Yes, that's what Andrade is also known as. Charlotte's husband. But that is correct. Net breaker there by Trick. Grayson on the outside. Shot coming in there by Trick. And again. Grayson over against the barricade. Big chop. Big chop coming in. Grayson felt that. Grayson goes down to one knee. I think it's Andrade, said Simon. It's going to be Stone Cold, said Mr. Dow Jr. He's not a former NXT champion. Grayson goes over the commentary table. Trick on that commentary table. Gets the applause of the crowd. Back in the ring. Big kick there by Grayson as Trick goes out the ring. This is our main event. Oh, big clothesline. Picture in picture. Interesting, because when we go picture in picture in America, we actually go to commercial break on the network. So when we go picture in picture, you would think they would just keep the picture on the network, but we don't. We go to these, like, best of the bump commercials. That's what I've got right now, a best of the bump commercial. Bump live tomorrow. Streaming on the network. A new original series that will leave you saying, this is awesome. Sean tweeted, former NXT champ coming out tonight, said Thomas. who is the NXT champ, people really care about this, don't they? It's funny because I didn't see people really caring about who the mystery partner was going to be for LWO earlier, but people seem to really care about this tweet. Interesting. Hasib said, I'm not being funny. Would you agree Charlotte and Andrade are the weirdest wrestling couple? They just don't suit each other. Don't know, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, Andrade, I could imagine he likes tall, leggy, blonde girls, and that's what Charlotte is. Very athletic. Blonde. In shape. Like, yeah. And, like, I could imagine she likes a bit of Latino heat. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's that unusual. I suppose it's more... Is it more... I don't know. Is it more unusual than Becky and Seth? Becky from Ireland, Seth from America. Don't know. I can imagine a lot of couples like that kind of down Miami way. Kind of around closer towards the Mexican border. Where, like, there's a few, like, Mexicans that have maybe made their home in America. Don't know that many Mexicans come to America and then go to Seattle, you know, or Boston. I would imagine they probably stay relatively south, where it's still warm, you know. Like Miami and Texas, places like that. I would imagine there's quite a few couples that are in relationships like that. I don't know. Never really thought about it. I just hope everyone's happy. Okay, here we go. We are, I think, into the final part. You sound like Bear Grylls 40 minutes into an episode after nearly dying 5 times and downing his PT. Well, funny you should say that, John Oswald. That's pretty much what this stream has been. Only we are nearly 3 hours into this. I have nearly died 5 times, and I can confirm I have just finished drinking some PT. So, yeah, very similar. Grayson in the corner. I am back in Lake County, said Carmen Live. Carmen Live, shout out to you. 2, kick out by Trick. Matt, shout out to you, buds. Matt said, approach of YouTube creators, the hunter, a desire for immediate success, often relying on viral videos, or the farmer cultivates their channel over time until it becomes sustainable and profitable. I don't know if there's not more subcategories of that, but yeah, there are different approaches to this this game. There are different ways of doing it. You know, but then you could say there's people that do it for passion and to share their passion, and then there's people that do it as just like a cold hard business. There's people like, you know, that will talk about topics and subjects because they are topics and subjects that trend and easy to get views on. Maybe not something that they're necessarily passionate about, you know. That's not a bad thing, you know. It's just they see it as a job. It's a job. And it's their job to talk about the trending topics, right? That's fine. Or there's some people that have a passion in something, like we do, and they want to share that passion and talk about it, right? So, I don't know. There's different approaches to it, isn't there? I wouldn't even know how many different there's probably like YouTube seminars that can break it all down, and like, you know, there's 5 categories and then there's 5 subcategories and blah blah blah. But yeah, there's different approaches to YouTube. Slap coming in there by Trick. Grayson goes down. Whoop that Trick. Crowd are really invested, you know. Big shots coming in by Trick. Driving Grayson back. Oh. Wonderful uppercut. Trick collides into Grayson. Grayson goes down. Grayson gets planted. Chest first. Oh, yeah. Oh, I can do quite a deep voice, actually. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that's such a sick shot by Trick. Looks so good. Shoulder up. Oh, yeah. Where are we with that poll? 75% of you, that's about half, think that Carmelo is going to screw Trick over. Kick coming in. Watch it not be Andrade, says Mr. Dell Jr. Godfather So said, I'm very lifted. I'm happy 2024. First post. Brother, you went too hard last night when The Rock came out. Look what WWE has done to you. Too much Triple H show. R.I.P. voice box. Gone but not forgotten. I miss Trish. I miss working vocal cords. That's what I miss. I miss the ability to communicate. It's like a rock bottom by Trick. 1, 2, foot on the rope. Cheeky little foot on the rope. Grayson gets out the ring. We're into the overrun. We still haven't seen this former champion. Boom. Plants Trick. 1, 2. Kick out by Trick. I didn't hear what Grayson just whispered or just said there. Camera picked it up. Oh, I need to say, everyone will have heard that, but I didn't hear what he said. I'll have to go back to that. What did Grayson say? What did Grayson say? Ring, 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 ring. Ring, 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 ring. What did Grayson say? That'll make no sense to you youngsters. Ah, here he is. Here's Carmelo. Here's Carmelo. Here's Carmelo. Here's Carmelo. Oh. Big cheer. Huge cheer. Who is it? Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens. Still not Andrade. Still not Andrade. 1, 2, 3. Carmelo doesn't turn on Trick. And Kevin Owens is the surprise. It's hard to be down on seeing KO in it. It's hard. I'd say it's better than Johnny or Tommaso. It's a bigger star. But it's not Andrade again. Blooming Andrade. I don't care when Andrade comes in now. I officially will not be excited for it. I've been too hurt. I've been hurt too many times. Trick wins. Carmelo applauds. And that's the show. Our program has now concluded. That's fun. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Thank you, WWE Network. I've never seen that before. I don't remember that after premium live events. Our program has now concluded. Thank you for watching. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Well, there we go. There we go. Trick wins. Daze, I'm in Gary, Indiana. Well, I hope you're having a good time, my friend. Let me click on this. I need to put the poll up. Poll up. Hey. Haven't managed to get a video on that second channel in a while. It's funny because some of the news that's been dropping has been really big. We haven't really had any news that's just the right size, you know? I mean, you could be like, oh, Kevin Owens was on NXT, but I don't know, does that matter, really? Ilja didn't compete. I don't know. What I suppose you could have done Obourne Femi wins the breakout tournament, but the breakout tournament is such a low-level tournament. Don't know. You know, like new women's tag champs. That's the kind of news. That kind of news, you know. Triple H's announcement. That, you know, we might do a video on that, put it on the second channel. Depends what it is. If he says he's about to leave Steph for Linda, that's probably a first channel video, isn't it? What do you score? WWE NXT. 5 all time. I'm gonna. Oh, I don't want to show you that. Oh God, I do need to do that though. Oh, I do need to do this. I need a poll. I need people's thoughts on that main event. What did you score the main event? Did you think it was all time? Did you think it was great? Did you think it was good? Did you think it was meh? Okay, polls up for that. Get voting for that. I didn't want to show you this. It's not a problem. I wasn't aiming for this. I was aiming for the other one, which is this. So this is the poll at the moment that I'm just putting up, so you can see I'm working on it. It'll be up in a second. So was it bad? Was it okay? Was it good? Or was it great? Right, that poll is live. Lovely. To vote, by the way, go to Wrestling Daze Clips. It's the second channel, and the reason why we do it there, I do mention this all the time, but we do it there so that we've got one place where all the scores are, and I don't want to flood this channel with these votes. I'd rather do it tucked away rather than on this channel. So that's why we do it over on the second channel. And look, we've got all of them there. Look, these are all of them. So it's quite good to go back and have a little look, actually. Interrupted by Bray. Great news. Bray has been added to a Legends contract. Lovely, lovely. So this was Raw's result. So this was the Raw result. Let me bring this up. Show scores. So it was great 59%, but then we always add what's above it because those people clearly thought it was great as well. So this actually ends as great 82%. That's correct. Yes, great 82. Great 82, 59 and 23. So great 82 So if we go to our show scores, we can see actually puts it here. So Raw, bang, 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 bang. There we go. So yesterday's Raw, since we started doing this, was the 4th best show we've watched. The 4th best show so far. The 4th best one. I can't wait to see where the Royal Rumble falls. I can't wait to see how that, where that is in our list. But we'll obviously have to wait for that. I'm loving this. I think it's brilliant. I think it's a brilliant new addition. I think really having some visibility now on what you lot think about the shows and what you lot think about the matches, I honestly just kick myself for not doing it sooner. I really do. I just think we could have had years of data, which would have been, think of all the shows we've watched. And, I suppose rather than being regretful for not doing it earlier, just be thankful that we're doing it now. That's probably the better way of looking at it. But, I love the fact we've got show scores, we've got match scores. Like, this is so good. So good. We should have been doing this so long ago. So really want your feedback, really want your thoughts. Let's click on that. Let's get a few of these final thoughts as we look to wrap this baby up. 1000% we are not doing Unseen tonight. I will try and get it done tomorrow. Wisp said, I think this is the first time I've heard the name of Daze's second channel. Carmen said, did you enjoy the Rock segment? That segment was awesome. I did. I thought it was a bit long. I thought it went on a bit too long. I think you could have shaved a good few minutes off it easily. I was not a fan of the crowd bit. It's not a problem. I just think that he spent a lot of time running Jinder down, right? Really laying into Jinder. Sort of feel like Jinder's next is nothing. You know what I mean? He's so low down. He's so low down the food chain compared to The Rock. The Rock just needed to come out, just say a few lines, chuck him out the ring, piece of trash, off you go, blah, 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 you know? I felt like that segment just went on like way longer than it needed to. But we know why. It's because like it was, people were going to be like, oh my God, The Rock's here, turn the telly over. And by the time people have got the remotes and turned the TV over, they, wanted to make sure that he was still there. So they, kept the segment going. And if The Rock's on screen for 5 minutes, that's 5 minutes people are going to watch. If it's 7 minutes, that's 7 minutes people are going to watch. It doesn't really matter that he's not saying anything or doing anything. People are watching, right? So for me, in an ideal world, I would have shortened it. I would have got rid of the crowd chant bit, and I would have shortened it a bit more. But really, outside of that, yeah, I mean, it was fine. I mean, the segment itself is, it's fine. I've got to tell you, there was people in the chat there going, "This is a bit boring. It's going on a little bit long." But all of that is irrelevant when he drops that line at the end, and then the whole wrestling world goes, "I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what's just happened?" There seems to have been some sort of nuclear bomb that just went off. What the flip, right? That was such a big moment at the end. It was just... Don't get me wrong. The stuff before it, I thought the segment with Jinder was a lot better than the one I saw with him and Theory. There was... it just felt more structured, more planned, more prepared. Like it had a bit more content to it. Maybe too much content, to be honest. But yeah, that's my thoughts. It's fine. The segment itself was fine. But for me, I want to see The Rock. What I really want to see is I want to see The Rock having a real segment that I can get really invested in with like Jey Uso or him having a segment with Solo. Like, maybe trying to convince Solo, you don't need Roman. You're better than this. You don't need to be his henchman, and Solo just sort of thinking things through. Do you know what I mean? And it's actually interesting. And we're like, oh my God, is he getting through to him? Is he getting through to him? What does this mean? Rather than just watching him like lay into Jinder Mahal. I mean, we don't. Who cares? You know what I mean? You probably won't see Jinder for another month now. Jinder laying into America is a little bit like the little kid at school having a pop about, I don't know, the teachers. I mean, it's just like, yeah, whatever. You know? So, it was fine. Yeah, it was fine. But that moment at the end is, oh my God, wow. Wow. And that's all anyone's talking about. It's amazing. Jordan said, I've tagged you in a tweet. Thank you. Let's have a look. What are we dealing with? Triple H announcement. This might be related. Okay. TNA pay-per-views are now premium live events. Okay. Triple H announcement. This might be related. Why might it be related? I feel like I'm missing a big piece of a puzzle here. Like, are people saying that this is connected to WWE just because they've started to call them premium live events now, rather than pay-per-views? Is that really all it's took? I mean, I haven't heard any... I mean, are they even looking to sell? I don't even think they're up for sale, are they? I mean, could they have entered into a partnership with them? Well, if they have, it's been kept quiet. If they have entered into a partnership, I don't know, man. I could see the internet getting giddy about this, but I don't know. That doesn't really do anything. Would it be cool if TNA and WWE were working together? Oh, people are going to get... This is going to really gain traction in it. I can already tell this is going to gain traction. And is it really just because Impact have renamed their thing Premium Live Event? Is that it? Is that where we are now as a wrestling community? That if a company just renames their shows a Premium Live Event, people go, oh my God, that's what WWE call them. They must be working together. Is that where we are now? Is that all it takes? Is that all it takes? That is all it takes, isn't it? That is all it takes. I haven't heard any word whatsoever of any relationship between Impact and WWE. So if it is going to be a case that this is a connection now, that they've made a connection, let's say they have, that'll be massive news, and it's come out of nowhere. It'll be massive news, and it's come out of nowhere. I haven't heard not a sausage, nothing about them working together. Zip, zilch, nothing. Diddly. I would even wonder what was in it for WWE, other than, do you just stop AEW getting access to them? But what's in it for WWE? Loads in it for Impact. But what's in it for WWE? What's in it for WWE? What did WWE gain? It's a war. Would you consider AEW streams if you got it good again? No. Tommy does them. Triple T's AEW stream for tomorrow. Sunny. Yeah, that's my thoughts. My thoughts are, I don't think there's anything to it. That ain't enough for me. Nowhere near, right? I will be interested to see how big that news becomes. I think that it will actually become quite big. Trinity's going to WWE, said Jordan. Yeah, we did hear that. WWE doesn't own the name Premium Live Event. Is TNA changing from pay-per-view to PLE a sign of WWE, or am I reading too much into it? Well, I don't believe it's a sign. Changing from pay-per-view and now calling it Premium Live Event. I mean, to be honest, the reason why you would do that is because a pay-per-view is something that you pay to view, right? If you're on a streaming platform where you pay a monthly subscription, that's not necessarily a pay-per-view. That's why WWE changed to Premium Live Event, because if you subscribe to the network for $9.99 a month, then you're subscribing to get access to the back catalogue. You're subscribing in the UK now to get access to NXT. You're not specifically spending that $9.99 to get access to the pay-per-view. So you're not, pay-per-view doesn't, it's not a thing now for WWE. I think they do still do some pay-per-views where people spend £30 just to watch the one show, right? But I would imagine the vast majority of us are doing it through the network or through Peacock, and that's $9.99 a month, and we get the back catalogue and everything as well, and things like The Bump and This Is Awesome and all of that stuff. So that's why it changed from pay-per-view to Premium Live Event. I don't know what the model is for Impact, but if Impact has its shows on a streaming platform, right, then they would also be doing Premium Live Events rather than pay-per-views, and perhaps they've looked at it and gone, oh, that works for us as well. So it may be nothing to do with a connection with WWE, other than language-wise, it makes more sense to call them Premium Live Events. Anthem isn't doing any work with Endeavour. Anthem is rich enough, says Oblongbox. Please rest your voice. You need honey, lemon, and water room temperature. I'm off to do that, my friend. I'm off to do that. I thought Impact were a small foundation against WWE. No, they've got money back in them. I don't think they're looking to sell Impact. And I don't think that TKO were looking to buy Impact. So if they were to do something with Impact, then I think it would be a relationship. And I would then question, why would WWE do that? What do they get from it? Because they don't need that relationship. I mean, yeah, you could send someone over, like we've just sent Charlie Dempsey to All Japan. You could send someone to Impact. But why would we need a relationship? What does WWE get from it? The answer is not much. Yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. We'll keep an eye on it, but I'm not feeling it. Right, we're done. My voice is gone officially. Thanks a lot for joining us. Appreciate the support. Simon said it's if it's about a partnership, then it would be Stardom not TNA. I heard a report that WWE and Stardom are looking to partner up together. Well, I know that they were looking to launch NXT Japan, and originally NXT Japan was going to involve All Japan, and I don't know if they would get into some sort of an agreement with Stardom, but I believe New Japan owns Stardom, so it's going to be very difficult because New Japan have got a relationship with AEW, so it'd be very difficult for WWE to get a relationship with Stardom because they're owned by the same people that own New Japan, and WWE currently don't have a relationship with New Japan. It's AEW that do. So that, I think, is going to be very difficult. WWE, historically, have not really done partnerships, not in the recent term. You can go back to when they did a little something with ECW. You can go back to, like, you know, the 80s, 90s. They had some agreements with, like, New Japan, but, you know, we weren't seeing anything with TNA. We obviously haven't seen anything with AEW. We just don't really see them doing much, so it doesn't really make much sense to me. So we'll keep an eye on it, but at the moment it just seems like they've changed from pay-per-view to premium live event, and that's it. So I'm gonna need a lot more than that. So thanks for watching, appreciate the support, and I will see you again